Every child is told a story, and every child believes it. That's the magic and the curse of the young. Now I was told I was weak by a woman who couldn't see me, blind and afraid. She hid me from the sun. But once you know enough to doubt a lie, then you know enough to shout the truth. Now I am telling you, this is what is true. You're a beautiful being of light, born as a miracle in love's sight. It's time to rewrite your story. Sell a story, but you don't have to buy it, 'cause stories are like thieves, stealing all your years. We gotta help each other stand up and walk to the light, give each precious soul its due, and hold each other dear. 'Cause when you know to doubt a lie, then you know enough to shout the truth. Now I am telling you, this is what is true. You're a beautiful being of light, born as a miracle in love's sight. It's time to rewrite your story. Beautiful gift.
Good morning, Unity Spokane. How are we doing today? Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center Spokane, where we are all about our mission, transforming lives and inspiring people to make a positive difference in our world. I'm Jeff Tawney, and I'll be your platform assistant today. And today is Throwback Sunday. It's throwback because we have no Wi-Fi, we have no lights, we have no water, but we are not rudderless, because we have our man Ryan Sawyer here. He's going to be giving us our transformational talk. As always, we want to begin with our opening affirmation. I will say it once, and then I'll ask you to join us. There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the Good. Together, there is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the Good. This is Unity's foundation principle: one presence, one power, one life working in and through each of us. This morning, as I said, Ryan Sawyer is here doing our transformational talk, and I'm excited about that. Ryan always brings it. He will also be leading us in our meditation. But before we get started with Ryan and the rest of the program, Amber McKenzie is going to come up and give us a little update.
Hey, good morning, everybody. How are we?
Yay!
Glad to see you here and those joining us online. I know there's a lot of people online as well. Yes, it's dark in the sanctuary today because there's a lot that goes on when you have a divine flood of love. And darkness is darkness is one of those things. No. So I'm going to give a center update in a minute and tell you kind of what's going on. But first, let's just do some quick news you can use real quick. As always, please sign up for our e-newsletter. That way you can kind of receive the updates, especially right now as we are going through this time of some transition. And that you can find that on our website, or you can scan that QR code and sign up that way. We try to make it easy for you. And then next we have a singing bowl meditation with Mokifa. That is coming up on Sunday, February 13th. We're doing those the second Sunday of the month at 8:45 in the morning, just before services. We weren't able to do it last month just because of the surge in cases, but we're planning to have it on the 13th, which is in 2 Sundays. So please sign up for that if you are interested. That will be in the e-news as well, or you can see me and I can sign you up. We've got an amazing Compassion in Action team initiative. It is called HEART, Homeless Education and Resource Team. And so what the Compassion in Action team is asking us to do is to purchase gift cards for homeless youth in our region in District 81. And these gift cards for, it could be Target, Walmart, fast food places, anything that you feel a young person would want and need, please get those gift cards. Make sure you put the amount on them. And then there's a box in the foyer where you can put those. And those will all go to the youth in our region. Apparently there's around 700 young people that are homeless right now. And so anything that we can do to support them, let's do it. Okay, and then we do still have a bookstore sale. If you, as you were coming in, you probably saw some of our items. Please feel free to browse, and if there's anything you'd like, it is 15% off during our Flood of Love sale. Okay, next up, I'm going to do a center update. We are going to start doing these more often every Sunday. I'm starting us out, and then I think next Sunday we have Tara Weir on the schedule. So I want to give you a quick update about a few things. First of all, it is renewal time for governing members. So if you have not done your renewal, please do that. So far, we've got 82 people that have done it, which is great. And it's very easy. We just ask you to fill out the online form, which you should have received to your email. If you did not, please come see me. And then you can also renew today after services. There's a table just in the back, and then you can renew by phone. And then our goal is that you renew before the annual meeting, which is February 27th. And it'll just be after services in person. You can also join online. We're going to try to figure out the logistics of that. So please know you can be here in person or join us online. We'll make that happen. Okay, we had our town hall meeting last Sunday, and we had a lot of people join. I tried to get everybody that was on the Zoom in this picture. I'll send it in the e-news as well. So lots of great conversations, information. I don't know, we may have recorded that, I'm not sure, but if we did record it, we can get, I'm not sure. Do you know, Joan? Did we record it? Oh, it was mine. Did I record it? No, I don't think I did. So, but if you want an update on what we talked about, please let me know and I can send you that information. One more thing to note, if you are interested in becoming a community member, please check the e-news. I'm going to have some information about that interest. We'll have an interest form. And then once we have the finalized community member kind of information, then we will send that to you. And also I will be sending those that are community members interested in becoming governing members an application this week. I've got that on my agenda. Okay, bookstore update. Okay, so there's a lot going on. Every day there's something different. It's a never-ending adventure. Right now, we don't have water to the building because there is a major blockage in the drain, and so it's immovable. On Monday, we have a a hot blast. That's what it's called, I think, where they run really hot water or something, I don't know, into the drain to kind of get rid of whatever is blocking. And they also have cameras that are going to go down and figure out what it is. And so we'll have more information after Monday. But right now, if we run water or the toilets, it all backs up and comes out again. So we just have to hopefully get that taken care of on Monday so that we have water by next Sunday. And then the other thing I want to share with you is we will need to get some bids from a general contractor for all the work that needs to happen in just that whole area. There's lots of baseboards, there's new flooring that needs to go in the bathroom, paint, of course, lots to do. I went through it yesterday and just saw all the different areas that need work. So if you know of a licensed and bonded contractor, general contractor, that you would like to refer, please let me know, because I'm going to do a call for bids soon, hopefully. And so, yeah, I would really appreciate that information. I already have a few, but if you know of anybody, please let me know. That'd be very helpful. Finally, let's just put in our consciousness some prayer support, not only for our center, but as we go through these challenges, and just knowing that Spirit is with us and that we are being guided. And this is all meant for a greater, higher good. That's what we believe. And also, we want to join the board, staff, all of our membership, all of you, our community, in holding the vision for the right and perfect minister to join us at the right and perfect time. And we affirm that this, or something even better, is already in motion. And so it is. And now we have a song, and then we'll be hearing from Ryan. Thank you.
Every morning, the light keeps getting brighter as I wake up to the truth. And every day, I'm feeling so much lighter, and the world seems fresh and new. What I was taught and the way that I thought stopped serving me long ago. Now I'm learning to trust in the God of all of us. Each day I start anew, and so I'm walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led me to confusion. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led me to such sadness. Today is the day I walk away. Every day I walk away. Every morning brings a new beginning. By grace another day to be. I awaken to the sun upon me shining, lighting the way for me to see. Oh, things that I sought and the way that I thought stopped serving me long ago. Now I'm learning to trust in the God of all of us. Of yesterday I'm letting go. I'm walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led me to confusion. Today is the day I walk away. Oh, I'm walking away from the less than that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led me to such sadness. Today is the day I walk away. Every day I walk away. Today is the day I walk away. Thank you.
So that was beautiful. It's amazing how every single time I have an opportunity to stand up here and speak, how Amber seems to pick the perfect song to the point where I almost came to tears sitting there listening to that going, oh my goodness, this is overwhelming. And I love how we here at Unity always just find the gift in everything. So whatever's going on out there, there's a gift and a lesson in it. And that's one of the things that we're going to talk about a little bit today. As I started to, first of all, for whatever reason, I woke up this morning, and usually I like to walk around a lot, right? I'm very animated when I talk, but the spotlight is immovable. And this morning I woke up, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to use the slides. I think I'm just going to stand at the podium and deliver this message. And I realized, well, this is it. This is why, right? It was doing this work that I'm going to talk about today that actually led me to be able to write and to be able to deliver this. This idea, this topic, like doing your part, has come to me years ago, and I've been very, very curious about what is my part as a human being in this world, as a spirit having a human experience. What is my part? Like, how much am I supposed to be intentional to create something, and how much am I supposed to just let go and let life flow through me? And this constant navigation, exploration of trying to figure out what are those two things, and there's never finding a balance with the two. So I'm going to try to keep this as simple as possible, because what I'm going to present is simple, but it may not be easy. One of the things I think we have to come to realize is, or what I came to realize, is that suffering is a part of the human experience. And when I first heard somebody say that to me, I was like, I don't like that. I don't want to accept that. I don't want to sit here and say, oh, I have to suffer to be human. I didn't like that, And so I started being curious again. Okay, let's take it a step further. How much suffering is necessary? Because there's necessary suffering for growth, for our soul's evolution, right? For us to transcend a certain experience, but yet how much is unnecessary? And then if there's a certain level of suffering that is unnecessary, then who is responsible? And as I sat with that question, I was like, uh-oh. Because the only place I could point the finger was back at myself. I'm responsible for all my unnecessary suffering. And so then one of the main aspects, or one of the main questions that I ask a lot of people when I'm working with people in my coaching is, to what level are you willing to participate within your life today? And I actually create a scale from 1 to 10. And it's really amazing when people first start answering this question, they'll circle a 7 or an 8. And I'm like, really? You're not completely willing? Interesting. There's something there. And I wonder, how much of that willingness is then pointed back towards our suffering? Because it's uncomfortable to circle that 10. Even I notice it. Every day I ask myself that question, and sometimes I'm like, oh, no, I'm a 10 today. It's easy. Other days I'm like, ugh. I have to actually will my hand over to that 10. It wants to land on a 7, even a 6, sometimes a 5. I don't really want to participate today. So that's a really important question to ask ourselves. And to understand, like, okay, so where is this suffering coming from? If I'm not willing, then I am somehow resisting. The lights come on. Okay. I said something there. What did I just say? Something about acceptance. I said acceptance. Let's go. Oh, wow. You feel that? It's an acceptance to do the work. Acceptance that we are a human being having a human experience, or a spirit having this human experience, and having the human experience is part of it. And so what does that look like? It's about these human needs that we all need to fill. First of all, it comes to our own safety, right? Our own physical and emotional well-being. Having water is a human need, right? Food, shelter, warmth, touch, these different things. I can see you. Hi. And the second one is connection, right? Having people in our life, connection, community, belonging, being accepted, being approved of, right? We also have this need to have a sense of self and integrity, right? Authenticity, spontaneity. Like, who am I in the world? What's my place in the world? I want to know what that looks like. Not only am I in community with other people, but I know who I am and where I stand with that community. And then a sense of meaning. I want to contribute. I want to give back. I want to be significant, right? I want to somehow have a deeper celebration to life, right? And so we go to incredible lengths to try to fill this void that happens in our life. Or Viktor Frankl talks about it being this existential vacuum, right? When these needs aren't met, when there's not meaning in my life, I feel like a gaping hole. When I don't know who I am, where I belong, and what the purpose of my life is, there's this gaping hole. So I go to great lengths to try to fill these needs. Our caregivers do the best they can to fill them, but they fall short, right? I am a caregiver. I have 2 beautiful babies, and I fall short every single day. I do my absolute best, but I fall short. As my own self, trying to fill these different needs and balance that out to try to understand how to relate myself to the world and try to find the balance between my inner world, my inner domain, my spiritual being, and this human experience, I fall short. And when I do, I suffer. Because I'm like, oh, who am I? What's my place in the world? How do I give back? All these different aspects, right? And then there's the financial piece where you got to make a certain amount of money. And then you feel this sense of lack when you don't feel like you have enough. And it's this constant interplay. And we feel like all these needs are constantly, because we relate to the world in that way, they're constantly out there. They're constantly separate from us, right? So then we go to work. We go to work to make sure that life fits our unmet needs. And when we have a need that was unmet when we were a kid and as we're growing up and even in this current day, we then try to fit our world and our life and even our relationships in such a way that it fits our sense of inadequacy or unworthiness or unlovable or not being good enough or not being safe and secure, right? Even to the point where I recognize and I think about the movie, Jerry Maguire, You Complete Me. I mean, to think that something outside of you is going to complete us is the illusion. To think that a partner or somebody else in my life is going to complete me, that's not love, right? That's that person not hitting my stuff. Because if they're in my presence and my stuff doesn't get hit, my sense of unworthiness and inadequacy doesn't get hit, that means that they're right for me. I mean, I'd even argue potentially it'd be the opposite. The person that hits your stuff is the person that's there to awaken you, right? So that scene in Jerry Maguire where he's standing in front of this all dramatic and he's got tears in his eyes and saying, "You complete me." Like, that didn't do us any good. To then go out in the world and think, oh, there's somebody out there who's going to complete me. Right? That's the worst illusion there is. Love is not something that completes you. Love is what's left when we completely strip all aspects of this sense of separation and ego. Right? Love is what's left when we no longer over-attach and identify with our sense of unworthiness and lack and inadequacy. What's left is love. Right? So therefore, love becomes this choice to surrender, to let go, to no longer over-identify. So if we know there's never going to be enough out there, because you can go to work, and I work with people, I've seen it, where they have everything. There is not a single doubt in their mind that they have a shelter, warmth, food, water. There's not a doubt in their mind that they have a credible sense of connection and community. There's not a doubt in their mind that they are contributing, giving back, and making plenty of money, all of these different things, right? But yet they're still come back and say there's some sort of hole. There's something that is missing. And it's amazing because when we go to fit all these needs out there, the first thing that we sacrifice is our sense of self, who we are in the world. So then the question becomes, and when we talk about doing your part, the question becomes, who am I? Who am I? You know, as we kind of hear that, we hear that in spiritual text, and we hear it pop up, you know, whether you're studying the Yoga Sutras, the Bhagavad Gita, the Bible, whatever you're studying, it pops up over and over and over and over. And we think, oh, that's a really important question. But yet we just brush over it. We just kind of go, yeah, no, who am I? Well, you know, I'm a spirit. Cool, okay. And we get it conceptually, right? But we don't actually give ourselves an embodied experience of it. We think, oh, that's nice. That's nice. It's nice to know. I'm glad I know that. I'm glad that I know that all this is an illusion. We conceptually get it, but we don't sit down long enough to actually give ourselves that embodiment, that visceral feeling of understanding who am I. I mean, my question is, how many of us have sat down with that question until you had a glimpse or a moment where you knew? Because if you know, you wouldn't even be able to explain it. Language would not be able to tell from one person to the next what it feels like to know exactly who I am. Right? So have you sat down for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? I mean, Jesus himself went out into solitude for 40 days because he had a human aspect of himself, right, that was separate from his truth, that he had to learn how to interplay between the two of these things to be able to continue to walk the path that he was given. Right? He was the most incredible yogi who's ever walked the face of this planet. He went out and he asked that question, and he had doubts, and there was fear. So he had to know. Not in his mind. He had to know in his body. Who am I? Right? Because God's always working. That message, that answer is always there, but yet we don't slow down long enough to be able to hear the answer, to be able to hear the truth, to be able to listen. Right? So we need to slow down to wake up. Right? So we need to be able to ask that question. Because here's the thing. Our experience of the world as a collective is all of our preferences, our stories, our roles, our titles, our identities and attachments to all of those things that keeps us all separate. The other day I was at my son's wrestling match, and I was sitting there by myself, and there was a couple people sitting behind me. They weren't together, but they knew each other. And there was one man and one woman. They started talking about all their preferences, and I just started listening. It was fascinating. It was fascinating. It was like a circus going on behind me. Well, I like things like that. Oh, yeah, me too, but I don't like that. My husband does this, but my wife doesn't do that, you know. And all of these things. Oh, I like all of my shirts color coordinated and folded in just a certain way. Like all of this. She's like, everything has its place. And he's like, yes, it does. And I was like, goodness gracious, are they setting a stage for suffering? I mean, everything has to be just so for me to be okay. Right? And now I'm telling you that order has its place. And that's God's role. He has perfect laws in place. And when we let go, everything will find its place. When we let go of who we are not, we will find who we truly are. So, your part. Come back to doing your part. Is to sit still long enough until you shed those layers of separation. To sit still and experience what it feels like to let go of some sort of role or identity or a preference that you have, right? Sit down with that question and say, who am I? And then when the answer pops up, when you inhale and you ask that question and it says, I'm a father, and you say, that's just a role I play. And you set it down. And then you ask the question again and it says, well, I'm a brother, yeah, and you set that role down. Well, I'm a business owner. I'm a painter, I'm a this, I'm a that. You set that down. I'm a coach. No, you set that down. You just keep setting things down as they keep popping up. You can pick them back up later if you want to, but you're going to set them down for now until you have some sort of an experience. And what's going to happen is it's going to be incredibly uncomfortable because it's going to be unknown to not identify with yourself in that way to the world, even just sitting in that seated position. And you're going to experience what they consider the dark night of the soul, when there's parts of you that you're leaving behind you, right? And you can describe this in neuroscience and science and from a perspective of what it feels like to no longer travel some sort of neurological pathway that creates a certain chemical dump, right? And when you no longer feed that narrative, that preference, that habit, that behavior, that way of thinking and being in the world, your body is addicted to it, and it's going to say, give me my drugs. And you're going to have to sit with that. That's the dark night of the soul. And understanding on the other side of that is liberation. It's complete freedom. Because that's what we're all after, is a sense of freedom. It's in there, but you got to be willing. You got to be willing to shed until you have this moment. And sometimes it's just a glimmer. In the mental health world, they talk about this. They talk about if we can get somebody who's in a complete place of darkness and suffering, just a glimmer, just a glimpse of hope. And then we can find a way to stack these glimmers and these glimpses of hope, and we can stack a couple of them together. We can start to actually mold moments together. That's what allows for people to then completely transform and have a different experience of life. So if you have that experience, if you sit down long enough and you continue to ask that questions, you continue to shed these layers of ego until you have a knowing, a visceral experience, an embodied experience, one that you could try to have a conversation with another human being about what that feels like, and they're going to both be like, it's just really hard to explain. And then you're going to know, oh, no, they get it. I mean, best way I can explain it is freedom, complete freedom. Another reason why I was laughing right before I went up here is because it was dark in here, and to me, the sense of just nothingness. There's just nothing there but space, but a void. Just open, all possibilities exist. When I get myself to that place where I've shed all of those layers and I just get a glimpse, it just happens for just a moment. It's just a taste of it. That's what it feels like. Like I'm completely just an awareness in the middle of nowhere. Now from that place, what's the next part of doing your part? From that place, then you choose your next experience in life, and you want it, and you know why. Why? To heal. To heal this aspect of you that feels separate. To heal this aspect of you that goes through these great lengths to try to fill all these needs that you think are outside of you, and you recognize it, so you set the goal to build a business, to write a book, to rebuild a relationship, to do something in your life that matters to you because it's going to hit your stuff. And when it does, that's the gold. And then in that moment, we show ourselves compassion. Here's another thing that people conceptually get. No, I'm compassionate for myself. We get the idea of compassion, just like we get the idea that we're a spirit having this human experience. But do you actually practice it? For yourself. We do it for other people. But I have a really rude awakening for you. You're only going to be able to practice a level of compassion for other people to the same level that you practice it for yourself. So do you actually practice it? Meaning, do you actually take a moment to notice the disturbance that's happening within you when your stuff gets hit? And then do you ask yourself and recognize and accept, there's that word acceptance again, that this is hard. That being a human being is uncomfortable, that there's suffering that goes along with it. Right? And then do you actually create some sort of sense of gratitude or appreciation for that trigger? Because gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership. And if you can't do it in your own state, that means then you have to use some sort of imagery. So what I like to do is think about somebody who's grateful for me. Right? This is new science coming out that actually allows for you to get a sense of gratitude. It's at a deeper level when you think of somebody who's grateful for you rather than what you're grateful for. Like my son or my daughter or my wife, they're grateful for me. Like, oh, wait, it expands, right? And then what would my son or my daughter say to me about the same situation that I'm feeling triggered about? That's how you practice compassion. You notice the disturbance, you recognize that it's hard, that there is suffering involved with the human experience, right? You go into that form of gratitude to welcome in the trigger, to welcome in the healing. You bring in that image of somebody who's grateful for you, and then you let that voice from that place love you. And then now you're going to heal. So what I'm talking about doing when we choose that next experience that's going to lead to our own healing is we're setting a goal to awaken our soul. You set the goal to awaken your soul. And you think about, what is the impact? What is the impact of us doing this when we're setting these goals to awaken our soul, when we're healing, when we're truly knowing the truth, when we're embodied with that truth? The impact of it is how we see ourselves when we look in the mirror. First of all, we don't see the same thing. And I always know when I'm living in separation because it happens really, really quick. I start judging. I start comparing. I start doubting. Right? I look at someone and go, why don't they? Or why don't they? You know what they should do? I'm like, separation, there it is. So I'm judging you. That means there's something within myself I'm judging. And in that moment, I have a question, or I have an option. I have a choice to either continue to be and live in separation, or to stop, sit still, and remember. Remember who I am. So this becomes the next part of the doing your part, is staying awake. Staying awake. It's really incredible. The human brain is designed to conserve energy to such a level, if it doesn't lead toward your just actual physical survival, it's going to throw it out. It's like, we don't need that anymore. What I have found is I have 48 hours. I call it the 48-hour rule. That means on Tuesday morning I wake up and I'm doing my practice and I've sat there in silence and I've connected and I'm like, and I walk from that place. That means that I have connected, and then my next step out into the world is embodying that truth. Sometimes I make it to 10 a.m., sometimes noon, sometimes 4 o'clock. Sometimes I maintain it through the whole day, right? Let's say that I maintain it through the whole day. I feel great. Wednesday morning I wake up thinking, I don't need to do that again because I know I'm good. By Thursday I forgot. By Thursday I have already completely forgotten what Tuesday morning felt like, and where I was operating from and who I was being in relationship to the world and to myself. I already forgot. I got 48 hours. So we have to somehow recognize and interrupt these patterns of separation, because it's exactly what they are. They're patterns. One of the ways is just to notice when you lose control of your breath, when your breath is disturbed. This is why I love to teach breath work. Like, your breath is that first thing that gets disturbed when there's a disturbance outside of you that creates a disturbance within you. Your breath changes. So if you notice your breath changing, then you can consciously take control of your breath. And that's a sign for you to slow down, to be still until you reconnect and remember who you are. The other one, obviously, clearly, is spending enough time in silence to have that answer, so you have that reference point. It's like a trail marker that you put in the trail. And as you're going along in your journey, and you recognize, oh, that's right, that's where I am, that's who I am, that's where I'm going, that's how I want to reference and represent myself to the world. No difference than trail markers are also triggers. As I'm walking along the trail, I get triggered. Okay, trail marker. Put it in the trail. Do some work. Stop and do some work, right? So time in silence on a daily basis. Whatever that looks like for you. I'm not telling anybody to have a 2-hour meditative practice. I'm saying maybe start with 5 minutes. But commit to it. Every time I pick up a new practice, I give it 6 months. 6 months. Say, I'm going to sit in silence. I'm going to do this type of meditative practice. I'm going to do this type of breath practice. 6 months for full integration. So time in silence. The other thing that I think is incredibly important that we recognize, and we can somehow build this into our life, build this into like once a month, once a quarter, whatever it works for you, is to completely remove yourself from your environment. We are not greater than our environment. That means that within your own home, all these patterns are set up. You walk by the kitchen, you think about something, and you don't even know it, right? You're in the place of do when you're in your own home. Remove yourself completely from your environment, whether it's time alone or time with a significant other or time with your family, and be somewhere where there's no patterns have been existed in that place. And then you start to recognize, like, whoa, I didn't even realize how stressed I was. I didn't realize how much I was running that program. So your breath, time in silence, and your environment. The question is, what is possible? What is possible when we do this work? When we do this work to slow down long enough to wake up. So then when we wake up, we can clean up. So that we can get up and actually make the impact in the world that the world needs. Because even when I was writing this speech, I first wrote it out and I had all kinds of slides and all kinds of things and illustrations. And I thought to myself, I'm writing this from up here. So I stopped. I scratched the whole thing. I started over. And I sat down and I did this very work. And I didn't write down anything or do any sort of bullet point on a piece of paper until it came from me, until I did that work to shed these layers, and then what came to me is what I wrote. Because it wasn't coming from what I thought you needed to hear. It was coming from a different level. A level of awareness, a level of intelligence. So what's possible when we start to link these moments together is we start to see God in everything. And I can see you, I can see myself in the mirror for who I truly am, and I can remember that. Guess what happens? I see all of you that way. I no longer see you as a separate human being. I don't see color. I don't see any sort of demographic difference between you and me. I don't see anything, but yet the truth of who you truly are and who you've come here to be. Life begins to flow. Life flows. And whenever life is not flowing, I realize, time to remove myself from my environment. Time to spend a little extra time in silence, maybe. Because I think I'm doing the work, but am I just rationalizing and justifying and saying that I am, but I'm not actually sitting down long enough? Am I just checking boxes? Because a lot of us get into that place. We're just checking. And I did it. I did my breath work, I did my meditation, I went to church. I contributed, I gave the money. I did it. I did my reading, I did this, I did that, I did it. So then, therefore, I'm good enough, right? I checked all the boxes, I'm good enough. So it's a choice. It's a choice to choose your hard. Because I told you, it's simple, but not easy. It's going to be uncomfortable. Most people fear the silence because of what's going to come up. It's not because of what's going to come. What's going to come up, what's going to emerge is going to be beautiful. It's what you have to let go of. It's what you have to no longer identify with. It's going to be uncomfortable. And that experience of treading through what it feels like to no longer carry that old belief with you, that old thought with you, that old pattern, that old behavior with you. So choose your heart. It's going to be carrying around this burden of separation, or sit still until you know God. That's your heart, right? And remembering who you are. One of my favorite, I love Disney movies, love them. One of my favorite scenes in any movie is when Simba gets told to, look into the reflection in the pond, right? And all he sees is his own face, and then the monkey slurs the water or something like that, and then he sees his father. And his father appears from the cloud and says, "Remember who you are," right? But I'm telling you, we have 48 hours. If you've done that work and you don't continue to do that work, you're going to forget. It's just part of the human experience. We're wired to forget. So remind yourself as many times as you need to. And know that what's going to happen, and Amber even said it, we're being directed, we're going to be protected and corrected if we do this work. Otherwise, we're out there constantly trying to just manipulate everything outside of us to try to make ourselves feel okay and like we're doing enough. So it becomes almost like a game. We play the game, and it's this interplay between playing the game is being human, right? I know that there's human needs I still need to meet. I'm going to go meet them. I'm going to do everything in my power to provide for my family, make sure we have water, food, shelter, warmth, touch, all those things. I'm going to continue to make sure that I'm building a community and I build a relationship with my wife. I still love and want my wife. But need and want is two different things. Right? I still want to continue to explore and be more authentic and self-expressive and spontaneous and integritous with myself and know exactly who I am as a human being and strengthen that and present that to the world, know who I am so I know who I'm presenting. I want to continue to find more and more meaning and significance in my life and contribution. I'm going to play that game. But I'm going to play it from the inside out. I'm going to play it with always being aware of this interplay between the inner and the outer game. Right? Because then I know that I'm being directed. Then I know that I'm protected. Then I know that if I get off path, I'll get corrected because I set up these trail markers along the way. It is this goal to be in the world, but not of it. One of my favorite spiritual texts ever from the Bible, right? Is to be in the world, but not of it. I'm out there, I'm playing the game. I know I'm a human being, but I'm in it, but I'm not making it all mean something. Not making it all mean something. So we're going to go through a little practice. We'll do a little breathing. We'll do a little time in silence. And my goal for you is just to be clear that your intention is to do nothing but see if you can find that little glimmer, that little glimpse. And it may or may not pop up in some way today. But I challenge everybody. I challenge myself every single day. It's why I set up certain things that are what somebody would consider to be discipline, because I have learned enough about how this human brain works that I do not trust it. I don't trust what it's saying. I don't trust what it's thinking. I don't trust the rationalizations, the judgments, the comparison. I don't trust any of it. Right? You guys with me? You guys with me? We go home and we slow down. We slow down to wake up. Okay? So let's have a moment. Find yourself in a comfortable position. Make sure your spine is straight. A slight tuck of your chin. Take a moment just to become aware of your breath. You're not going to change anything. Just notice it and become aware of it. There's nothing that you need to change. You're exactly where you are for a reason. You are directed, protected, and corrected every step of the way. One of the first commitments we have to make is to be still. To understand that the body is the mind. And the body will fidget and want to move, want to kick, want to scream when we begin to let go and surrender. So the first thing is we have to be willing to participate within our life. That means you have to be willing to command your body to be still. So take a moment to make that commitment. And tell your body to be still. To be here. Right now. And once we've made that commitment and we feel this stillness happen within our body, we then shift our beam of attention into a sense of curiosity. We know we're in control because we just commanded ourselves to be still. Now shift your attention to curiosity. What's happening? Just play this noticing game of going inward into your body. And just notice. And just know that whatever's there is just something your body's experiencing. It's just energy. It's not who you are. You're just the one experiencing it. So you're just going to kick back and notice. You don't have to understand it. You don't have to make sense of it. You don't have to attach to it or identify with it. You don't have to feed any sort of story behind it. You just got to be with it. Just let it be. It's our resistance, it's our denial, it's our avoidance that keeps it in there. When we're willing to just accept it and let it go, it will pass through us. So just notice this non-judgmental awareness. We're going to do a few rounds of intentional breathing now. I'll guide you. It'll be an inhale, a hold, and an extended exhale. Just to give ourselves, again, this visceral embodiment feeling of letting go. So let's exhale together. 3, 2, 1. Fully exhale. And inhale. That question, who am I? Hold. Notice the answer percolate. Then exhale. Just set it down beside you. Inhale. The question over and over, who am I? Hold. Whatever pops up. Exhale. Set it down. Just part of your human experience. Inhale, knowing that whatever is coming up when you ask, who am I? Hold. Is there for your soul's evolution. Exhale. For your healing. It is for you. Inhale, but we don't have to identify because we're the ones that are left. Hold, we are love. We are what's left. Exhale, let it go. And we no longer attach. Inhale, be willing to sit. Hold. Exhale. Continue to be curious, to be willing. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Notice that there's any sort of space being created within your mind-body system. Inhale. Notice the darkness behind your eyelids. Hold. Exhale. Become aware of the space around your body. In front of you. Inhale. Behind you. Hold. To the right of you. Exhale. To the left of you. Inhale. Notice that space is what it is. Just open. Hold. Space. Sense of nothing. Exhale. Nowhere. No time. Inhale. Last round. Hold. Exhale, let go. Sink down. Finish that exhale, then just return to a very gentle breath. Rhythmic and smooth. Somewhere between just being aware of your breath and consciously breathing. Dance on that edge. And just see if you can't drift away to no place, in no time, as no body, as no thing, with no attachments. A place where there's nothing. Just notice that there might be something uncomfortable, and just accept it and let it be there. Say, here I am, and there it is. Here I am, and there it is. Continue to explore that sense of nothingness that is everywhere, always. And from that place of nothing that is everywhere, always, is where your truth lies, where it exists, and where all possibilities exist. And when you have a moment, a glimpse, a little glimmer of that embodiment of that truth, then you can decide from a new level of awareness, from a new perception, what parts of you, what roles and identifications are you willing to pick back up and take with you on your path? And what experience do you want to have? And are you willing and accepting the worthy challenge to continue to heal, to be closer to your truth of who you've come here to be? Bring your awareness back to your breath, back to your nostril breathing, back into your body, back into this space, back into this room, and back to the sound of my voice. Wiggle your toes and your fingers. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you for your time today.
Ryan, you're batting 500. Awesome. No, you're just consistent. You're just consistent. It's awesome. The breath work. Years ago, I did a tandem skydive, and they're doing the whole thing of telling you expect it, right? And the guy says the most important thing is don't forget to breathe. So I'm the cut up, and I'm like, how can you not forget to breathe? It's a normal bodily function, right? And the guy goes, yeah. So jump out of the plane. The guy at the camera gets in front of me, and what you see in the video is the guy that I'm attached to going, breathe, breathe. So after that, I realized like breathing is not a normal bodily function. When you mentioned that about, it is true, where breath changes. So thank you so much for that reminder. Unity stands for peace in the presence of conflict, for love in the presence of hatred, and forgiveness in the presence of injury. Unity honors the many names for God, the many paths to God. For we know that there is only one power, one presence, and one life. So whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcomed here. If you are new to our ministry and feel comfortable raising your hand, we would love to say hello to you and we would offer you a barista today, but we'll have to give you a card for another time. I know there's a new couple here. Yeah, there they are in the back. Thank you so much. It was nice meeting you. But yeah, we would love to, thank you for doing that, and we'd love to connect with you. For those of you that are watching online and are new to our ministry, we encourage you to sign up for our e-newsletter. You can do so by scanning that barcode there. That will give you information about upcoming transformational speakers, events, workshops, book, spirit groups, all that sort of thing. So just scan the QR code, or you could also go to the unityspokane.org website. We would also like to connect with you on social media. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Just search for Unity Spiritual Center Spokane and you will find us. And we thank you for joining us today. So now we want to take a time and do our little greeting. So I'm going to ask that we do our socially distanced namaste. If you feel comfortable standing, please do so. But let's just take a moment and to greet one another. Thank you, everyone. It's time to celebrate abundance together as we share our tithes and love offerings. If you would like to give virtually today, please do so. You can do that through texting to text to give, our text to give number, which is 509-215-2552. Very simple process. You can do that. For those in the sanctuary, our ushers will be coming forward with the love offering bag, so we invite you to give your offering there. Or if you can also give your offering as far as your attention and your intention, right? So you'll see members put their hand over, and that's what they're doing, is they're also offering their spirit. So so we're going to do our love offering blessing, which says, I know that my giving blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give and receive. I give thanks for the abundance that is mine to share. Dear abundant provider, we thank you for these gifts and for those who have given them. As we send them forward in continued service to our mission of transforming lives and inspiring people to make a positive difference in our world. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. And so it is. Bless you. Our chaplains today are Gary and Al, who have been holding the service in prayer today. Al will be available with us to pray at the immediately following the service. So if you have a heavy need or something that you would like prayer or to share with, Al will be available for you. We thank our chaplains for their service, because they do that day in and day out, and whether they're here or at home, we thank them for that. We'd also like to encourage anyone who is in need of prayer support to please fill out a prayer request form. They're in the back, and when you fill that out, it gets prayed for here, as well as gets sent to Silent Unity for prayer there for 30 days. So you have that. Today we don't have any youth. Well, we have youth. I should take that back. We have youth, but they're joining us today because of the lack of water. So we won't necessarily have them coming forward, but we would like to send our blessings to them, whether they're here in the sanctuary with us or they're at home. So I would ask you to join me in our children's blessing. Be the love you are, sing the song you hear, share your joy of life with people far and near. And for ourselves, be the love we are, sing the song we hear, share our joy of life with people far and near. All right, so let us all now join in together in our closing prayer, and that will be followed by the peace song. Together we affirm, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well, and that's the truth.